Welcome, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Untamed Oracle. I'm Solasen, and this message is for you. This is a space for those of you who feel like you are the one that no one was looking for, but you carry deep wisdom in your bones. So, this is a channeled message. I'm using some tarot, some oracle cards to receive this message and to deliver this to you. And it's a soul transmission. I'm here in my office today at work, but I felt really guided to take a minute, take my time out of my work day to tap into the field because I feel the energy is bubbling up. It's almost, it's fiery. It's like almost Mars energy. So if it finds you, it's meant for you. Take what resonates and leave the rest, and always listen to your own inner knowing above all. So let's get into it. So the first card and message that was kind of in alignment with what I was receiving is, like I said before, Mars energy, that you are in the middle of a conflict or you've recently come out of a conflict, and it's brought up a lot of this fiery passion, anger, frustration, sometimes resentment. It might be a low level resentment. It might be more that fiery energy. But you feel this anger rising. And I am getting, so underneath it, you have like this big heart that wants to love, but you've been hurt and taken advantage of and betrayed and exploited in the past. And so your anger is like this protective armor. It's an instinct. It's a part of you that is trying to protect you from old patterns and from falling into the same trap with people that you have in the past. And I feel like there was a person recently in your life that you've been kind of at odds with, and it's really challenging you. And I get that, I see this devil energy. It's really strong. And this is like you're in some archetypal interplay with a person right now that is reminiscent of other past experiences with other people. This is a familiar pattern. So some of you are, I'm getting that, we talk about empaths a lot and people who are really sensitive. Well, the shadow side of empath is that it's a trauma response, that it was wired into your nervous system to scan the environment, to learn your survival was based on merging with another, letting them kind of feed off of you, hyper attuning to the environment, and then kind of contorting yourself to be palatable so that you wouldn't be either exploited, rejected, abused, or abandoned, or neglected, all of them. So you become hyper aware of other people, and oftentimes people really do have that. I mean, it's a blueprint, it's coded into your DNA, and that's why you're kind of having these experiences that awaken this gift. But it's also a limitation sometimes if it's left in the shadow. You tend to be a people pleaser or want to be a savior or want to fix things, but then you get exploited and frustrated, and people they don't see the fullness of who you are. They think that they can get away with it because you are very intuitive and kind, I think, at your core. And so it takes a lot to get you angry, and people sometimes don't take you seriously, especially certain types of people who often like to feed off of the empath template. So there's often like a dynamic between empath and narcissist, and they're both in shadow in a different way. One is trying to take and one is trying to give. You offer yourself. You don't have boundaries on your energy, on your temple, basically, and you learn that being useful or basically self-erasure or having permeable people having access to you is what almost like a martyrdom or a wounded healer. Also, if you have your Chiron, like my Chiron's in my first house, and so it's the wounded healer archetype, literally. So I know this pattern well. But I'm getting you're very intuitive, with the Queen of Cups, and you have this gift, and so you kind of get in tension with people. I feel like with this recent energy that's coming up, you're trying to change how you deal with these certain situations. And you're I'm getting you know what you're dealing with. Maybe in the past you didn't see clearly, but you're seeing clearly, but you're kind of addicted to your own codependent patterns often. And you have a lack of boundaries, and then you get exploited, and people, or it's almost like, sometimes it's like a wounded animal in nature. It almost has a smell, a scent, and it's easy prey. And we have animal nature too. So other people unconsciously have the other archetype that does this dance with us. I'll say me, but where they can sniff it out, they can smell it, and it's like your prey. It's in your energy field. They can kind of sense it. It's like a sixth sense. It's not even like, you're not like, you could even seem really fiery and confident, and you stand up for yourself and you say the thing, but people can still read your weakness and like kind of get around it sometimes. But I feel like you're trying to loosen your attachment to old coping mechanisms, like the way that you have been trying to do it. It takes a lot of courage. Like, it feels like I'm getting the grasshopper spirit. Like, you're taking a leap of faith, trying to do it different. And that's the thing about the pattern. Like, maybe it's different for you to be really vocal and just say your piece and maybe become unhinged a little bit. That's still better if it's a break of your old cycle. Like, even if it comes out clunky, or even if it comes out too aggressive, or you said the mean thing, or something bad happens, it's still a change in your normal pattern. So it's good. It's good. I mean, maybe you'll end up somewhere slightly different. You'll fine tune it later, but it's a good first step. And I know, like, with this card, the Otter Spirit, you are never alone. What's coming up for me with this is you have been conditioned to basically not use your voice, to not have conflict, to be a peacemaker of some sort. And that has been because you have been abandoned before. And so it literally standing up for yourself, or interrupting the pattern, or doing something different, like, hits that wound of, like, I don't know if I'm going to be safe or if I'll be all alone. But you're being guided to take that leap. Take that leap and just break the cycle. Just break it. Every single time we choose something different, we're rewiring our nervous system. We're rewiring our karmic pattern. I'm kind of like the woo-woo therapist, I guess, in my field. Because I really have strong backgrounds in psychotherapy, and also I have a medical Qigong Taoist background, and I do energy treatments and healings, and I kind of do the fields have both merged for me, and so in an ethical way. Some therapists kind of like, get worried about that for me, but or not for me, but in general, they get worried about that. But so that's why some of the words, it's the same principles. It's just like in psychology, a lot of the words make us sound professional and like we know something, but it's just repackaging ancient concepts in different vernacular, in different words, and then being the experts. But so that's why in my brain they're all the same energy. It's just like sometimes different words that we use. So let me get some more on, you're in the middle of shifting this pattern. You've been learning about boundaries, or being more mindful of them, or how you are in conflict with people, especially people that try to take your energy. You've maybe had to, I'm getting that for some of you, that you've had a health crisis or a health situation where you have had to stop. Like, life is kind of demanding that you do something different. And yeah, you're having to loosen your grip on how you've been managing your life. And I got the card water your garden, like nourishment, body care, and tenderness. What other card? I mean, even in the pre-shuffle, some of the cards that energy that was coming out was, of course, good news, because you guys are awesome. I tap into a collective that's like a fiery bunch, but like really soft at your core, like so loving. So I hate the word because it gets overused, or sometimes the phrase high vibrational, but you really are as a collective. And that doesn't mean you don't have, like, these cards are really shuffling. It doesn't mean that you don't have karmic patterns to work through, or, you know, in psychoanalytic terms, the mother complex or the father complex to work through. But that doesn't change the core nature, the core spark of light that you are. And so you can still claim what you know about yourself. And this, yeah, I got the Tower after all of that, and the 10 of Wands, you guys. Wow. So this is just reconfirming you've been arguing with someone. You've been having a conflict, and you're wanting to lay your burdens down. I feel like you did. There was like I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing the same pattern. I am going to change my pattern. And you've had to really be defensive. I got the 7 of Wands. You've had to really hold your ground with whoever this is. Who is this person? They're the devil, because I got the devil card. Somebody that represents love. Like, okay, so either they are, either they're like a partner or an ex-partner, a romantic partner, or the pattern that they are bringing up reminds you of someone that you really loved. So it could be somebody that is not even in your family, but that like reminds you of somebody that you loved, that you're kind of like working through this pattern with this person. You know, sometimes we work through like the big pattern with our main partner, or the person that we love that we're still with. And sometimes, you know, we don't have the opportunity to work through like our father complex issues with our actual father, but that person, their energy, that same pattern, that same archetype will still manifest in a different relationship in a slightly different way. Yeah, and I feel like whatever you've gone through, you've gotten a lot of clarity. So you have spoken your truth in some way, in a big way. And I'm getting again the strong, I got the 6 of Wands again. Okay, so this is huge. I feel like you could get public recognition from whatever conflict that you are going through. Maybe you're reestablishing your reputation in a group of some way. Maybe you're getting some recognition in spite of somebody, naysayers, people who did not have your back, people that were subtly undermining you. But I also, what's really coming up for me is like, this is in the spiritual realm. The 6 of Wands, you're getting recognition from your guides, from your ancestors, from those that have passed before, or that those that are invested in your life journey, that they are like rooting you on and celebrating whatever it is. Because yes, I think I've said this before, but the people who, it's not always the people who that look like they've, you know, there's movies made out of heroes and heroines, and you know, at least in my work, I get to see people and their life stories unfold over years, sometimes decade. And some of the most ordinary people are the most amazing individuals. Like, they need movies made out of them. And I feel like you're one of them. And your angels and your guides are cheering you on and celebrating you. And it could be something as minor as you just doing something different than you normally would do. Maybe you put some burden down, some old way of dealing with that devil energy. You changed it up. You changed it up. Okay, where are you going? What is advice or the near future? Ace of Swords. I feel like you are on a new journey. Like your level of awareness now, you've embodied it at a whole other level. And so what happens when we actually make a shift in the external world based on what we do, our natural responses, you up level. You switch your field. You're on a different timeline. I feel like I need to pick up that card. Normally I let them drop, but this one is important. The Knight of Pentacles. You are in the middle of building something new, slowly and steadily, creating a different life for yourself, a different external world. And that is done by little changes, little decisions. And this, whatever this conflict was, whatever you're in the middle of, you are actively changing your patterns. And that is the biggest victory of all, because that is the hardest thing to do. It's hard to change those ingrained like patterns and the ways that you were conditioned. That's like we are so unconscious. We can see other people's patterns, but we often are so unaware of our own. And you are creating a different life for yourself. You had you've had a shift of thought. You have no new clarity, and you're kind of, on a different timeline now, essentially. So I think you guys are amazing. It's so lovely to tap into this collective and to have a break from my work, which I love too. But this is fun. It's creative for me. It allows me to bring my woo-woo into also what I know and what I've trained in. And but I've always been, kind of a mystical child, a mystical person. I just kind of kept it hidden. I accidentally hypnotized one of my friends in elementary school. Because I loved the psychology and the mystical. And anyway, she had a huge release, a huge memory come up for her. And I was like, oh shoot, I just hypnotized my friend. I didn't mean to. I was just playing, but but that stuck with me. And so I really went that route. As far as learning the psychology and working with couples and individuals. But I've always been mystical. I've always had this intuition and this other side of me. And so this is kind of my expression to bring that out, and in a more, I guess, social way. I've always kept it inside, so it's kind of fun. So thanks for allowing me to tap into your specific energy. If this touched you or helped you feel seen, please like, share, and subscribe. That helps my channel grow. It's new. I have an established practice over here, but this is kind of really what I want to get into, is more touching the souls in a spiritual way with people that I do connect with, and I feel your energy, and I've felt you calling, and I was like, I want to open up this field that I've kept kind of personal to you out there, just because I felt called to. So until next time, stay wild, stay wise, and never forget, you are not lost. You're becoming. So I love you guys.